Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is up on this fine Thursday, November 20th morning? Got a great show of Thursday's takes, Thursday's thoughts, terrible takes or terrific takes. There's a lot of back and forth going around out there on the interwebs about who should be in, who shouldn't. A lot of debates there. Let's see. Where'd that go? Let me see. Where is the stand by me? Where is of course. Adios. Adios. All right. After that, we just bump, bump, bump. All right, there he is. Good morning. What is up? It's Thursday, beautiful Thursday in November. It's fall. This weather is beautiful. Um, Absolutely beautiful. But we've got college ball, and we're right in the thick of it. We are in NFL and college ball. We are in the thick of it. We have to pause and enjoy. Just take a break. and let's enjoy some ball. There has been absolute chaos every single weekend. And I think that's what makes it so great. I'm, you know, but we're gonna blink, and it's all gonna be over. Playoffs. We need to enjoy the moment we are in right now. So it's a great day to talk ball. It's a great day to be alive. And let me hear your thoughts. Give me a call, 404-590-3224. Leave a voicemail. I want to know what's on your mind. There is a lot of controversy, but we'll go over some Thursday takes. Are they terrible takes? Are they terrific takes? We will we'll go through that together there. Um, who's underrated, who's overrated, and is this committee the worst committee we've ever had? That's a question. What up? What up? What up? What is up? T-Go? Boy, there is a dude on the internet. Let me see. I think I sent it to you. Yeah, let me go back. If not, I'm going to send you this dude right. I think I did. But my man is rolling. He is spitting off the top. So that's the thing there. Let me go. But like I was talking about, what's up? Welcome in. Thursday. What you doing? Give the couch coach call phone call. Let's talk. Let me hear what you're thinking. Who's good, who's bad, who's out, who's in, who should be in, who should be out, who's overrated. I want to hear all of your thoughts. One by one. Maybe two by two, I don't know. But we'll jump out with the with that being said, the question of the day: who is the most overrated team in the top 12? Is that Indiana? Is that hey, as mods, can y'all are y'all able to hit the wave button when people come through? Like when they pop in? Sometimes I don't see them and it just pops through. By the time I can hit wave, they done hit the drive through and they're on the way home. I got you. Wonder if there's like a shortcut for my little pay, y'all. What up, Maybach? Maybach music. But anyway, how we doing today? How we doing? We oh, not the best pop. Boy. Yeah. I think that's like a I seen something about that. Maybe I'm supposed to hit something else. Thank you for the fest pop. Appreciate it. You're a title gifter, man. About time you do something for your brother. What up, Dexter? But I saw. Where's that thing at, man? Boy. There's like some kind of. Yeah, what's that thing doing? It's like. I don't know. There's like a live fest going on or something, and I was wondering if I'm supposed to hit something when I do it. But I mean, is Notre Dame the most overranked? Are they most overrated? You know, they do have a quality loss to another dude in the top, another team in the top. Top 14. They Mr. Hunter, boy, I don't even know if he knew left from right. I don't even know if he knew the rankings when Reese was talking to him. He's like, yeah, once they get in the same tier, the flip are we talking about with tiers? We're not grading these teams like we're not grading them on tiers. Is it wins? Is it losses? Like, are you even watching the games? What are we doing in the committee room? So, that's that. But hey, give us a call. 404-590-3224. Let me hear what you're thinking on this fine November Thursday morning. And kind of rock with it and lean with it. Throw a little shock with it. We gonna turn it on to the Thursdays takes. Boom, boom, boom. All right now. Terrible or terrific? Thursdays takes. Indiana and Texas A&M are overranked. Is that a terrible take? Or is that a terrific take? I think with A&M, probably overranked. Indiana has been. If you watch, they look especially better than their team last year. This Indiana team looks physical. And, yeah. I mean, A&M only play when you look at the records, and I think it was somebody that was with, I think they were with Texas. Rivalry week, get some things stirred up. But when you look at who A&M has played, it is not a pretty sign of the SEC. Now, does that hurt or help the argument from the folks that say Big Ten better than SEC? I think we can just argue that regardless. Like, maybe they should, but maybe one year they just go, all right, no SEC team is playing another SEC team. playing all the Big Ten teams. Big 12, you're playing all the ACC teams. Hey, now, boom, 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 boom. You don't play your own conference. All right, we're going to find out. SEC versus Big Ten and randomize, whatever you want to do. Lottery ball. First week, Georgia and Iowa. Texas and so on and so on and so on. And then we actually have a argument of, all right, this team played all SEC teams and they went 0 for 12. This team played all SEC teams, Ohio State, and they won all. And then we get to actually have the argument. But until then, we can't argue about it because, I mean, we're going to argue about it till the end of the time. Without a doubt, it's going to be argued about. I would love a mixed conference schedule. They won't do it. And a lot of old heads, a lot of old heads are going to say it takes away the tradition of football, but I would like that. I would like to see even if it was just like half and half, and I'm sure they could figure out the scheduling piece. That's for them to do. They're a lot smarter than me. I'm just a little guy down here in Georgia, and yeah, I would love to see Connor. What up? Big guy. We could see who's the big guy. Shout out Theo Vaughn. Big guy. Is Ohio State or Georgia the big guy? We will I would love to see that. They won't do it. But I think like Alabama has a valid point. Them scheduling the team, obviously the first game against Florida State to make it good. Yeah, they should have beat them. I understand that. But if they don't, and then they make the conference championship, and then they lose, and then they have 3 losses, but they scheduled that game because strength of schedule was supposed to be the bigger of the. But now you're going to look at the conference championship, and it's going to hurt them if they were to lose because that's their 3rd loss. That's a 13th data point. I don't. Does that really work? No. Yeah, oh man. Also, that boy Carson Beck, he needs to never take his helmet off. My boy is wow. Yeah, I mean, the conference championship shouldn't count against. Hold up. Wait a boy. Conference championship should not hurt the team. Basically, because now teams are. It just makes it weird. I mean, like if you're gonna do that, let's just do away with conference championships. You just do the conference champion is who finishes at the top of the conference at the end of the season. That's your conference champion. Because if it's going to hurt them, nobody's going to want to be in that game. Because you're talking about the 2 best teams of that league. Say it was like Oregon and Ohio State last year. Now, Ohio State ended up losing to Michigan, which Hey, you know how Alabama is kind of Kirby's kryptonite? That's almost like the same thing with Ryan Day in Michigan. I think Michigan is Ryan Day's kryptonite. It's it's that rivalry that he has the better team. He had the better team last year. They didn't have a quarterback last year. But things just go weird. Things go funny. And next thing you know, you've lost. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hmm. Yeah, when you look at the schedule, like for. Oh, also over there on the X. Hold on. I don't know why that is stuck in my head the last 2 days. Weedem boy. Over there on the TikTok, does it look better with the camera and everything at the top? You can actually see everything instead of like the chat hiding it on the bottom. Yeah, all right, bet. That's what I was thinking. I truthfully I went and yeah, I went and looked at McAfee's like how they do it because he's live on every platform and on TikTok it's like at the top and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe that's the route to go until I get to where I can put a stream key in OBS for TikTok, blah 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 blah. But if we're looking at it in the regards of, I mean, like 13-10 last year, anything could happen. Bam, 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 bam. They went on a run. They went on a run. That was their second loss because they lost to Oregon earlier in the season. Here's my point with Hunter, the chair of the committee. Say the rankings were a little bit different and Ohio State made the Big Ten championship. You're telling me that if they got beat in that Big Ten championship, they don't even make the playoffs by 3 losses by what you're saying, 13th valid, 13th data point. And Ohio State was the most dominant team last year as they got hot in the playoffs. And they were hot in the playoffs. And so we cannot judge these teams off of the conference championship loss. There's just no way. Yeah, you can't hurt a team for making it there because they're not going to want to make it there. What are you doing, Mop? But if we look at fast forward this year, what you need to go outside. All right, I got you. Back up, foe. Back up. Back up. Be right back. I tell you what, Sadie is the star of the show. She always wants to come up in here and get it figured out. Indiana, Texas A&M. One of the two is overrated. Who is it? To what we were talking about with the Ohio State dominance last year. Ohio State is as dominant as they were last year, despite the schedule controversy. That a terrible take or a terrific take? With their schedule, despite it, they've looked dominant. I mean, Julian Sayin he's slinging the pill, and like statistically, he's been good. They just play their schedule exactly. Now that goes back to everything we say about the Big Ten versus SEC. I mean, when you look at their schedule, they don't. They play, and again, they play what's given to them. Play what they have to play, but you open up the year against Texas, and I commend the out of conference game, but that's their only win so far that actually has any meaningful football behind it. And it was the first game of the year and Julian Sayin's first start, so you have to give him a little bit of grace, but they only beat them by 7. Texas has proven to give up a lot of points this year to a lot of teams. I mean, this is why I said everyone was saying that the Texas defense was going to break down Georgia. This game right here, they gave up 38 points to Mississippi State. Same opponent at Mississippi State. Georgia went there and, held it. They gave up a garbage time touchdown. But then when you look at, Florida scored 29 on them and they beat them. Is that win? What is? They gave up 31 to Vanderbilt. Now that's why I was like, this Texas defense isn't what everybody is screaming it is. But I do think Ohio State has I think they have a team. And when you have Jeremiah Smith, yeah. When you have Jeremiah Smith on the outside and Carnell Tate, I mean, in all reality, if they double here or even play, if you have a one-on-one ever, you throw it up to him because he's an absolute grown man in a 19-year-old's body, killing it out there. Oh, this is a good take from the interwebs. Texas is officially done as a national brand. Is that a terrible take? Or is that a terrific take? I don't know. And Sark swears he's not going anywhere. But I think Texas beats Texas A&M. I think I've seen you say that earlier. Um, yeah, and with Notre Dame, like you're exactly right. Because of what a conference championship is, it's the best of the conference. If you don't play in a conference, that's a loss you don't really have to risk. Uh, Now, I think if they hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love 1,000 times, there is a good chance that they can, because he's outrageous at football. Mr. Jeremiah Love is a dog on the field. I would like to have him. But could, and like even some of the Irish fans are saying Notre Dame may not get in with two losses. I think the committee put them so high early on that they're not really risking not making it. Thursday's terrible takes are brought to you by me. Maybe one day. Uh, what about this one? Vanderbilt. Let's see. Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia can make a run and win it all if they can somehow sneak in. Is that a terrible take? Or is that a terrific take? Mm, as long as they don't get a home game, because we're trying to grow the game. And Nashville may show up and be rowdy, but speaking of them, it makes their game against Tennessee kind of, he said, she said, are they going to? If they beat Tennessee, could that boost them up? We're going to find out. They can't go up above 10. Where we is? Yeah. Can't go above 10 because you've got Alabama there. But yeah, I don't know. Oregon plays this weekend, game day at home. They have USC coming in. Kind of speaking of that one, USC is back, baby. Is that a terrible take or is that a terrific take? Personally, I don't know. We're going to find out where they're at this weekend because they will be playing, obviously, Oregon. That's going to show us a little glimpse of if they're good. I think it's Makai Lemon. Yeah. And because like they're good talented team, will they will they beat Oregon? And then you have to ask the question, like if USC beats Oregon this weekend, how far do they jump? The committee here's a terrible or terrific Thursday's takes. This committee might be the worst committee we've seen yet. Is that a terrible take? Is that a terrific take? I don't know what they're measuring off of, but a lot of like you put these teams they box themselves in immediately, and then they overcorrect on Miami. And bring them, bring them out. You got two Big 12 teams in front of them. Hmm. The thing is, is even if you expand the playoff bracket, you can expand the playoff bracket, and we're going to have these conversations at number 17 and 18. It's just going to happen. That's why I don't know how much that changes. As much as it would be cool if that would fix. What a name. FBI van. Dude just be going through and checking people. That's crazy work. That is crazy. You float to the ACC. Is this a terrible take or a terrific take? Georgia Tech, if they win the ACC, can go on a run. Is that a terrible take? Or is that a terrific take? You tell me. I think the ACC has to get a team in, or there's going to be another outrage like Florida State was a couple years ago, which was warranted by them, but also see the other side with the injury. But if it was my team that happened to, I would have been highly pissed off as well. So I can't blame them for that. Can the Big 12 get two teams in this year? You've got Texas Tech, obviously at the 5 spot. Utah and BYU they're at 11 and 12. They're in, but they're not in because the cutoff line is going to be 10 is what it looks like. Yeah. I think the cutoff line is 10 because of the group of 5. we're gonna see what happens with the group of 6 or group of 5, whatever you want to say. Um, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Game day going back to, geez Louise. You could see how, like, all right, game day is headed out to Eugene this weekend. But you could see how at the beginning of the season, like, they probably looked at week 13 matchups and were like, holy, this is going to be great. Penn State was supposed to be really good. Nebraska, they were on the line. Could they be good? Sure. Could they not? Florida State, even after week 1, should have been up there. You could see how this week, Tennessee, Florida, with Lagway, Aguilar, like, with when they looked at the matchups for week 13, they were probably like, hey, we got some good games at the end of the season. And, like, there's 2 that are meaningful. And that would be Georgia Tech, Pitt, which Georgia Tech should win. They should escape. They control their own destiny. I think they win the ACC, they're putting them in. That is how I am looking at it. But they just have to take care of their business and they can get themselves in. BYU, I mean, if Cincinnati were to upset BYU, yeah, that causes some chaos, but they're not really on the cut line. I mean, they're there. They're kind of waiting for us. But if USC beats Oregon, how far do they jump up in the rankings? And how far does Oregon fall? I mean, at that point, you look at Oregon's schedule. They've not really, their 2 games and they to Indiana and USC both at home. Their fault if they lose this weekend. If Oregon loses this weekend to USC, they are falling out of the playoffs. No doubt about it. There is no chance. And the Thursday take that is kind of in the air, especially with a expansion. And as I've said over and over, the expansion doesn't change fan bases on the bubble griping and moaning, because we could have 64 team playoff and there's going to be the 65, 66, and 67 saying that they're better than X, Y, and Z and they should be in. It's just that that's where it goes. Now, there are going to be some arguments after this weekend, depending on if BYU, if they win, how well do they win? Utah, that's why I say Thursday take. The Big 12 has a chance to get 3 teams in. Is that a terrible take? Or is that a terrific take? I don't know if they're getting more than maybe 2, but I think if they get 2, they leave out an ACC team, and I don't think that should happen. And I don't think Miami, it's confusing because the fact of Miami doesn't really, they don't have a path to ACC champion, but they're the highest ranked at the moment that could get in, if you will. That's why, or maybe Miami does have a shot at ACC. I don't know if they do or don't. Um, but to have them there, if they make it in and you're ACC champion, it's going to fall back to do conference championship games even mean anything at this point? Um, but college football has been so chaotic this year. I love it. Um, it's every weekend there is something that changes the dynamic for the Tuesday night committee, and maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe we're making the committee's brains work too hard to try to figure it out. But they got to figure it out, and I'm glad it's them and not me because they're taking it on the shins every week. I think there's also a argument on North Texas, but I think and James Madison, but James Madison's strength of schedule falls. But then it goes back to, is the committee looking at strength of schedule, or is this just an eye test every week? We're watching this team play, and they go down 30-3. We got them coming back. Yeah. It's going to get really loud, I think, at the end of the season. Yeah. ACC has to get at least one in. Big 12, at least one in. Big 10, SEC, and group. Yeah. And there's so much football to be played that you can't even like pinpoint this is going to change, this is going to do well, this is going to anything. Who is Oh, I don't want to make my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law get upset, but is Texas Tech a legitimate contender? Their red zone efficiency has been pretty bad. Pretty bad. I do think they're a contender, though. I think that Morton is very, very good. I think Texas Tech has their chemistry has kind of meshed all season. So I think they're a contender. There's a lot of folks saying that they're not, but I think they are. Yep. Um, and what's crazy is that their defense, who they spend a little bit more money on their defense. But if Lubbock, because if you look at it in the scheme of this, like they're hosting a playoff game. Lubbock, Texas will be great. I mean, for game day, it was electric. For a first round home playoff game, I imagine that place would be insane. And it makes you wonder. I'm still on the train of does a first round bye hurt teams? Some coaches say like I want the first round bye to let injuries or this or that. But when you're in a groove, like finding your things. A first round bye sometimes seems to hurt the teams. They come out sluggish, and the team that just won is still on a adrenaline boost. Um, they are on a dopamine high, and they are rolling into the quarters, ready to beat 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yeah. So the first round bye is one of those things that I assume it would go away if they expanded, but maybe that more team. I don't know. It's no more than 16, but I'll continue to say it. I don't care how many we go to. The team fans on the bubble and the teams and the coaches on the bubble are going to be pissed, regardless, without a doubt. Um, so, who is the hottest team in football right now? Who's the hottest team in football heading into week 13? Georgia, and maybe it's being biased. Georgia is absolutely on fire on offense, and I will give credit to Mike Bobo because I'm also one that will question why in the middle of the game he goes conservative when he can obviously call a very, very well-oiled offense. Sometimes it just feels like he tries to get basic, and is he putting them to sleep so that he can hit a big play? Sure, maybe, but dang, it is awful when it goes like that. But it's one of those things. So who's the hottest team? I'll take Georgia out. So as a Georgia fan, I'm gonna move them. Oklahoma going into Alabama, but I think Alabama with a defense like Oklahoma, Alabama's flaw just got exposed because of Oklahoma's defense. Alabama can't run the ball. They cannot run the ball, and that does not help Ty Simpson at all. And, so with that, probably, I don't know. You can look at Indiana or Ohio State, but have they just been so consistent that they don't really get acknowledged, and they're probably okay with that? The cool part is we're going to get that game in the Big Ten Championship. So regardless if we don't get that game in the playoffs, we're going to see which one of the two of them is better. I think they will both make it. That's saying they went out and all the good. Yeah. Yeah, so what happens if Ohio State were to, let's see. If Ohio State were to Ohio State lost to Michigan, and then they go lose the Big Ten championship, because Mr. Hunter says that's a valid data point that they're going to be looking at. Boy, this could get really chaotic, just like it's been all season. Um, but do this. Yeah, but then you have to, like, yeah, you have a 2-loss, but then you look at USC, say they win, or it can get really ugly. I think they still get in. If they lose to Michigan, how far do they drop? Because Michigan is 18th. And again, just like Alabama is Kirby's kryptonite, I think Ryan Day has that same issue with Michigan. Now, I think Michigan probably gets beat this year. I think Matt Patricia controlling that Ohio State defense is going to confuse Bryce Underwood, but that kid's very athletic. And as we just looked at last year's game, 13-10, it became a slugfest in the trenches. Who can run the ball? That game's going to be fun. And then when they lose that game and then go play in the Big Ten championship game, if they were to lose to Indiana, boy, USC winning this weekend can make things wildly entertaining for the. So just like the SEC has all these scenarios and crazy what could happen if X, Y, and A, B, C do X. Big Ten's got some wildness in. So I think one ACC team, see, that's what's so weird. Does Miami have a shot at the conference championship game? I didn't think they did. I thought that they had. I didn't think that they had that chance to get in there. Let me see. If Miami has a chance to get in the conference championship game, I may be wrong. I don't think they do. And so if that's the case, they have a win over Notre Dame. And then Georgia Tech wins the ACC. Just scenarios here, which I think Georgia Tech has a real shot at it. If they could just tune up their defense a little bit, need a couple drives. Their offense, Haynes King, they are very effective. Number one in football. Haynes King is an absolute animal. He'll put his head out there for everybody and then give credit to his whole team when they ask him about it. That's just one of those things. And that kind of actually rolls into this here. For Georgia Tech and Georgia to both have a quarterback in the top 5 and the Heisman odds is cool. I think Haynes King and Gunnar Stockton being there, you wouldn't, I don't know. I'm not going to say you wouldn't expected it because I tried to say that Gunnar Stockton was a lights out quarterback prior to said season. But nobody wanted to hear it. So with it, that's kind of so the question of the day, as I say, you tell me. Who's the most overrated team in the top 12? Leave a comment on the video or Call the coach's line, the Couch Coach phone line. I'd love to hear your take on who's the most overrated, who's underrated, if you will. 404-590-3224. And that's one of those things. Quote of the day: the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Stream's over, but the vibes never stop. Hit that follow button. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. I appreciate y'all.